Hey guys, thank you for clicking on this video here today. I'm so glad you did so. Today's title is Why I Left the Left. Turning my back to tyranny. What the left is to me is a prime example of what tyranny is. The left tends to believe in big government. That is something that I don't advocate for, but at the same time, the left also seems to advocate for freedom. Sometimes we hear the left also referred to as liberal. It's fascinating to me because at a time in the past I would consider myself a liberal. And now today I find more and more that the left is moving so far away from liberalism and more into authoritarianism. The left or liberals would be the one to say,
"Well, sir, while I may not agree with what you say, I'll defend to the death your right to say it."
But today, all around this country, the left is trying to suppress free speech and suppress our constitutional Bill of Rights. That's one of the reasons I left the left. But this reason specifically is big government. And big government, the more that it expands, it seemingly also takes away your freedoms. The left as an ideology are some of the biggest liars. And when I say liars, I mean deceptive about their true intentions. By the way, full disclosure, I actually just left the left as of last year. The left were doing things to me that seem just completely reprehensible. I stood on the sidelines and watched the left go more and more to this tyrannical, I want to control you in your life, I don't like how you think, and if you don't agree with me, then we should lock you up. I want laws to lock you up. If you don't believe me, watch this.
Everyone must wear a mask. That's the new order coming down from the governor that goes into effect Saturday. Today we learned those orders have a lot of teeth behind them.
Technically, you could be facing 6 months in jail if you don't follow the governor's mask order.
What? That nigga's tripping.
Oh, and don't forget this.
Well, this mom was told, if you do not vaccinate your child and get them up to date with all these vaccines by the following week, we will put you in jail. She said, okay.
I mean, if you think about it, there really isn't any law that can't be made with the perspective of public safety. If you want to know if you're dealing with an individual who is an authoritarian, I mean a leftist, just ask them, how big should the government be? At what point is it too big? And how many huge governments are really that successful? The left seem to believe that everything is racist or that every white male is racist. They purport the lie of systemic racism rather than calling it what it actually is. Individuals in the system that are racist. That's something we really need to be honest about. If racism is so prevalent in America, how exactly do we measure it? It's very important to understand how we measure it in order to solve the issue. Just giving out statistics like, 3.73 black males are 3.73 times more likely than their white male counterparts to be arrested doesn't actually help any issue. When you talk about something as vague as systemic racism and paint this broad brush over the entire system, it doesn't help anything. But if you look at individual racists that do racial acts or something that may indicate that they may be racist, that is something we could all collectively fight for. But it is important to not let our biases cloud our judgment. They claim to be the side that cares about poor people and the middle class and the people at the bottom of the rung of the ladder, right? I mean, after all, that's what they always say. I believe them for the longest. But especially when it comes to these coronavirus lockdowns, it has me seriously questioning who these people really are. Who are they actually advocating for? When people protest these things and they want to be able to support their families, we're talking about middle class and poor Americans, right? Because obviously the really rich can probably do this lack of working thing and be able to pay their bills for longer than obviously the middle class and poor people. Obviously, right? When these people protest these things and they just want to support their family, support their loved ones, because bills are still coming. The rent still needs to be paid. The mortgages still need to be paid. Groceries still need to be paid. And if you're locked down and your child's school is locked down as well, well, that leaves you also having to stay home to take care of them, to do online learning. Now imagine how that would be if you're a single mother or father being at your home and now you have to take off from work or you can't work, either one. You can't work because you have to take care of your child at home, or maybe you've been laid off, either one. But that $1,200 check isn't doing anything because those bills are still coming. When we see these type of things on the news, the left likes to call these people terrorists, or rather right-wingers. Right-wingers, just these petty right-wingers that somehow don't see the need for everybody else to feel safe. Well, what about the people who need money to survive? Does this convoluted sense of safety somehow outweigh the actual needs of individuals? We're talking about the possibility of contracting something which has a low fatality rate as opposed to the definitive occurrence of not being able to pay your bills and not being able to take care of your family, and knowing that $1,200 is not going to do anything for you. What does this leave you in a position to kind of do? It might put you in a position to do some things that are illegal in order to do it. And God forbid, if you want to open your business or push your owner to open his business, like, hey, I need to work, I'll do whatever it takes, then of course the government will swoop in and say, hey, you can't do that. You're not allowed to let these people get money to pay for their families. We have a crisis at hand. Is this really the left and their ideologies? Are these the people who advocate for the lower class and middle class? I really have to question their intentions. The left are huge hypocrites. The right are too. The right definitely are too, but this is about why I left the left. One issue that comes to mind is the fact that the left seem to have this disdain for guns. The Second Amendment states a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the rights of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. But we have to really remember why we have the Second Amendment. And a lot of people like to talk about home defense or for sporting and hunting, which are some good reasons. Those are some good reasons. But the Second Amendment there is more specifically there to fight against a tyrannical government. Now, some people like to say, well, the people wouldn't win that fight or against the government. Does that mean we should then give away every freedom that we have then? Because if that's the case, we might as well give up everything that we have, since there's no way we can win. Might as well just give the government the complete power. Oh, but then this wouldn't be America anymore, would it? So that's why the Second Amendment is important. But it's hypocritical when the left tried to also say that they care about people's rights, especially black people and minorities, and they tend to always use this narrative that everybody is racist and black people are being killed at an alarming rate, an unarmed black man, this black child, this black woman, but then being killed by police officers, mind you, who are the direct hand of the government. They're people who are the government. And you want to give the guns to the people who you think are corrupt? It doesn't add up. The logic isn't consistent. The left hate capitalism. And the reason for that is because they're socialists. And you know the excuse that they use to hate capitalism is largely because capitalism is evil. It gives all the money to the rich. But that's not necessarily true. What actually is the fact is that it incentivizes people with great ideas who are hardworking and driven to be able to support their wildest dreams and desires. It's actually the thing that pulls you out of poverty. Isn't that great? I love capitalism. Let me show you how capitalism actually works. Hey, you, can I buy your umbrella for $40? Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Wow, $40 is awfully expensive. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Next time, I won't. Oh, but I can do that in capitalism, can't I? Capitalism allows me the free choice to choose what I want for myself. But socialism doesn't. And you know what socialism is? Hey, come back! What are you doing with my money? Hello? Well, socialism is evil because it is stealing. Stealing from the people who have money to give it to the less fortunate. But eventually, it won't work. It will just lead us to greater debt and greater poverty for everyone. And we will all feel the effects of it. If you don't believe me, point to one socialist country that works. There isn't any. Case closed. The left tends to always put their feelings in front of facts. And it's detrimental for this country. I mean, it really is. I mean, think about it. The left is also the same people who advocate for things like hate speech. What is hate speech in a country with freedom of speech? Who exactly defines what hate speech is? The government? Well, if that's the case, then anything can be defined as hate speech. It could be hate speech because I don't like what you're saying. Sometimes people say hate speech can invoke violence towards other people. But who determines how speech affects individuals? Doesn't every individual affect themselves? It's so weird when we stand behind, or when the left stands behind these things like hate speech. This is America. We are supposed to be the only country that is different than all other countries. I don't like to hear comparisons like Norway, Sweden. Oh, Germany thinks that they have freedom of speech.
People are arrested in Germany, jailed for speech.
No!
Yes.
They're arrested if they use hateful speech.
But they have laws against hate speech. There should be no infringement upon speech because then you give the power to big government. And the left knows that with big government, freedoms start evaporating. They always talk about it. They say sometimes you just need to get rid of some freedoms for the greater good. But without freedom, are we not all slaves? Today, in this day and age, are we not moving closer and closer to slavery? Because without freedom, that's what we all are, slaves. Hey guys, thanks for watching another episode of Gather Round. I'm so appreciative of you for clicking on that video that I don't want you to miss another spectacular video. So make sure you subscribe right now. And I also want you guys to like and comment, good or bad. I can't wait to see you guys on the next video. See ya.